Alright, today we're going to work on trying to get the backhoe on this tractor. We got some supplies here. We got cinder blocks to put the backhoe on. Got a grease gun, new grease gun I had to figure out how to put together. And I got some heavy duty grease, but this grease gun is one where I don't know if you fill it. I think maybe you can fill it there, or you take the top off and dip it in a big tub of grease. I thought you just put this whole tube in there and squeeze it out, kind of like a caulking gun, but it doesn't work that way. So it did have, one had a cap on, the other had a removable end. So I just took it off and then blew the grease out into the canister. So it's working now, so that's good. Here we got some straps. I'm going to have to strap the tractor loader in order to lift it to put the cinder blocks down. And we got some tools there. Brought the gas cans just because they're empty, and I'll fill them up when I go to town. But this is the tractor, the back of the tractor. This is the 3-point hitch here, so you got your two lowers and you got your upper here. Only the upper had a pin in it. The pins weren't in the bottom two, so on my way back yesterday, I picked up 2 pins so that we can attach those. This is the PTO shaft that we'll be attaching the external hydraulic pump to. And over here is the Bush Hog 665H backhoe. I already, when I got the backhoe, this hose here was pretty deteriorated, so I've already taken that off and replaced it. 3 feet of that hose is like $90, so it's expensive hose. But when I did that, I had to take it from this reservoir tank, and as soon as I took the hose off, I plugged it as quick as I could with some rolled up napkins, but you can see on the ground some hydraulic fluid came out. So I've already, after I put the hose back on, I've filled up the reservoir with hydraulic fluid. I tried putting this on the tractor because I think what you're supposed to be able to do is hook the hydraulics up to the tractor first, and then you turn on your PTO shaft, and that should allow me to lower the outriggers, which would raise this up, and I wouldn't have to put it on cinder blocks. The only problem with that is this one hose is too short, and so I backed the tractor up as close as I could to these 2 bottom mounting brackets. That's where I'm going to put those bottom bars of the 3-point hitch. I'm going to put those on there. So this hose wasn't quite long enough, and it does look like it's a little deteriorated in the sun, so when I replace that, I'm going to get a hose that's about 2 feet longer. Then I shouldn't have to raise this up with the loader every time I want to do something. But once I get this on the tractor, it's pretty much staying on there anyway. So what else about this? Oh, this PTO shaft pump, I was reading online. It says make sure to lock this down to your tractor frame, otherwise the PTO shaft can spin your whole pump and it'll just wreck those hoses. So I need to make sure I do that. So I'm going to set up this camera from a distance, and we'll probably speed it up when we put it online. So I'll turn it back on once I have it set up. Alright, we've officially got the bottom 2 pins in on the bush hog. See down there's one of my new pins. And down there is the other. I crushed the cement block, I let it down a little too fast. So now the next thing to do is hook up this PTO pump onto the PTO shaft and try to lower the outriggers in the bucket. So that's what I'm going to work on now. Alright, we're getting closer. Hydraulics work on everything, which is good. I'm trying to get the pin in the top hitch of my 3-point hitch, and I can't seem to get it in the right place, and the pin that goes in there, this arm gets in the way. If I raise the arm, it's okay, but if I don't, it just gets in the way. Also, I just found a safety feature. This switch here, when you sit on the seat, it pushes that down. So sometimes my PTO and tractor engine cuts off. So I'm gonna put a little bungee cord on there, on that switch, so that I can still work on stuff. But now it's just finagling the different controls and trying to line up that hole. And hopefully we'll be all hooked up. I got the backhoe attached. We're gonna go ahead and try to fill in this big old water hole and make a drainage spot for the water to drain. I'm getting tired of driving through this all the time. All right, we got the tractor parked, got the backhoe on, got the pins in here. These are the new pins, so there's 2 pins from the bottom 2 hitches on the 3-point hitch. The top one I had to take out the bar, and it's just bolted in there. I was having a real hard time. These arms were getting in my way, but then I remembered these lower bars are lowered all the way anyway. So for the lower bars, I just took them off of here for the time being, and that allowed me to get the pin in there. I should probably hook those back up now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, that was the tricky part, putting the PTO pump on there. I chained it down to the frame so it doesn't spin. And then just getting used to the controls takes a little while. But now that it's attached, I've got a lot of road work to do. But that's it for today. Well, for now.